Hello, my name is Bethany Petty, and I'm so excited to be hanging out with you guys today. Today I want to be sharing with you some of my goals for the year. This year we are in our, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th year of being a one-to-one school. So I, of course, try to use as much technology as I can in the classroom. To enhance student learning. So I just want to kind of take you through a few of my goals that I have for myself this year, and that is to be a fierce teacher, okay? So if you guys, let me screen share with you here. So if you guys follow my blog, I am at Bethany_Petty, that's me on Twitter, but my blog is usingeducationaltechnology.com. And one of the things that I wanted to do whenever y'all ask if I would do this keynote was that I kind of wanted to put together a keynote that would be kind of like goal-oriented, okay? So I wanted you to be able to kind of think along with me as to what you were wanting to do this school year and what I was wanting to do as well. So if you follow my blog, I started this Fierce teaching series, and basically Fierce is an acronym. My oldest daughter plays on a soccer team, and their name is Fierce, and they are 7-year-olds, and they are absolutely the definition of fierce, okay? They're playing kids much older than them. They get pushed down, they jump back up, they try to do all of these different plays and things that I'm not going to pretend to understand because I don't know soccer at all, but they are most definitely fierce. And when I was trying to think of a phrase or a word that would kind of describe what I want to be as a teacher, it really came to be fierce. Oh yes, and thank you. And as we're going through this, guys, please tweet away because I have my phone out, and I hope to be able to interact with you guys that way. So as we're getting started, think about what it means to be a fierce teacher for you. What is your goal in your classroom? Do you just want to walk in? I know this is not true, but some may just want to walk in and be there from 8 to 3 and say, okay, I'm done. Now I can go home and do whatever. But that's definitely not what it is to be a fierce teacher. So to just kind of take you through this, the first of the acronyms the first F of the acronym, or the only F of the acronym that I came up with was that I want to be fun. I want my classroom to be a fun place to be, because think about and I teach high school social studies. So think about whenever you were in high school, you come into your class and maybe it's not a class that you really enjoy, and you sit down and you're like, okay, this is not going to be awesome. And you immediately have that sense of, I can't wait till the bell rings. Well, I don't want that environment in my classroom. So what I want in my classroom is I want my kids to have fun. Now, I know government, what I teach, is not everyone's cup of tea or cup of coffee in my situation. But I can do certain things to make it fun. So one of the things that I talk about in my book is that in order to have fun in my classroom, I've kind of had to shed my shame, which is fine. And one of the ways that we do that in my classroom is through YouTube. So, and I really hope this is going to show for you guys. This is for your enjoyment.
Federalism, what? Federalism, what? A division of what? Of power between the states and the federal government.
Yeah, okay, so we don't need to replay that. So that's an example of something that we do in my classroom. Whenever my students don't grasp a concept right away, in that case it was federalism, we kind of stop and we come up with a song or a saying or a phrase or something that's going to help my kids remember what we're learning. And most of the time that involves me looking like an absolute fool because I have to, as you can see there, put on a sock cap and rap. And I can't rap, for the love of Pete. I can't rap. But anyway, it's something that we can do in my classroom to take our content and have fun with it and use technology to do that. Whenever I share this at conferences that I go to, I have lots of people say, when do you record that? And I say, oh, in my class. And they go, with students? Well, yeah, that's the fun part of it. Your students are going to feel like, hey, my teacher is okay with shedding some shame, whatever left I have, and having fun with our content. So when they see you have fun, they have fun with it also. Nope, we don't need to listen to that again. Holy moly. Okay, the next word that it's kind of one of my goals for the year is that I want to be intentional. And think about for a second how you make the best use of your face-to-face time with your students. If in my situation, I have my students for 50 minutes a day, but once you take off the, okay, getting in, sitting down, getting all their stuff packed up or unpacked, me taking attendance, then putting their stuff away, it's just, maybe 40 minutes of instructional time that I have. So a few years ago, when we went one-to-one in our district, I decided that I was just going to cannonball off the deep end of instructional technology, and I was going to flip my classroom. So one of the ways that I make the best use of my face-to-face time is with Edpuzzle, okay? And Edpuzzle is one of those really great websites that allows you not only to upload content, to monitor student progress, but also to provide really effective feedback for your students. So, and if you guys are unfamiliar with Edpuzzle, please check out my blog. I geek out about Edpuzzle all the time, and they've recently done some updates. But anyway, back to being intentional. That's ironic that I'm getting sidetracked when I'm talking about being intentional, but that's okay. So one of the ways that this specific technology and the concept of the flipped classroom has helped me be intentional is because I don't stand up in front of my students and talk at them for 40 minutes. And then have to wait for students to catch up, or have to spell something 5 times, or have to hear about so-and-so's weekend or so-and-so's dog or whatever that kind of distracts from what we're focusing on in the classroom. I take the content, I kind of shed all of the fluff or the distractions around it, and I deliver it to them concisely in a brief video. And then after they get through that, then we move on to our other activities for the day. And it's really a great way for me to make the best use of that face-to-face time with my students. The next is the next phrase or word that I wanted to include in Fierce is encouraging. I think it was towards the end of first semester last year, I really started to kind of see my students get into this, oh my gosh, I am so stressed out kind of mentality. And this will be my 15th year out of high school. So I kind of find myself being a little removed from this concept of, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out with all of the high school drama. But I kind of had to take a step back for a second and think, you know what? A lot of these kids do have a lot of stuff to be stressed out about. So instead of me just saying, oh, you're fine, deal with it, move on, I'm trying to find a way that I can encourage them, that I can make them feel like, you know what, yeah, you may have some stress in your life, but you know what, other people have stress in their lives too. I have stress in my life, and here's how I deal with it. So what I did is I created a Take What You Need bulletin board. And I'm just going to take you guys to my website super fast. And basically, I found a whole bunch of like inspirational quotes, inspirational messages, and I put it all in a Google Slides presentation, printed it out, and put it up on my bulletin board. And now my students know that anytime they feel like they're in a little bit of a pickle, where they find themselves needing some encouragement or some words of inspiration, they head on over to the Take What You Need board, they pull a piece out, and then they put it in their Chromebook or put it in their backpack, whatever they want. I had students last year who would tape their encouraging phrases on their Chromebook all over. And when it came time for end of course testing, they had to take all of that stuff off. And they were like, but Mrs. Betty, what am I going to do? I have to have my quote from Albus Dumbledore. And I'm like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. So the next thing I want to do for my students is I want to be relentless. Relentless in not only trying to be the best teacher that I can for them, but also relentless in growing as a teacher. Because as I talk about in my book, being a connected educator, being a reflected educator is really the best way for me personally to continue to grow. And if I just decide that, you know what, I'm fine the way I am, I'm fine. I don't need to grow. I don't need to improve. Everything's fine. Then my students are going to be the ones that suffer. So I want to be relentless in pursuing this idea that new ideas, that the idea that I can always be better. I can always do more things. And I know that you guys are in agreement with that, because you're here, you're working throughout the summer, and people think teachers have summers off. Please. Anyway, so connected educators. connecting with people all over the country, all over the world, kind of breaking down barriers and learning from other educators has been truly transformational to me. And if you guys don't already, please follow me at Bethany_Petty. I tweet a lot of stuff about education, show some stuff about my kids every now and then. But I'm really excited I'm really happy that I finally got over my aversion to Twitter, and I talk about that in my book too, and decided, you know what, Twitter is going to be awesome for me and for my students. So the next letter, C, I want to be connecting. Now, I know we just talked about being a connected educator, but this is kind of like more along the lines of my students. So since we have adopted a one-to-one program, my students have been able to connect with people in our local and our state governing bodies. And like I said earlier, I teach a lot of government. Not everyone geeks out about the concept of the bill to law process, or they don't get super excited about the protections of the Bill of Rights. I don't know why, it's fabulous. But I want to be able to connect my students with people who are in industries that we discussed. So things like we were able to connect with a local circuit judge. He came in and he talked with us about specific cases, landmark cases that dealt with student freedoms. I want to be able to connect them to people that work in Washington, D.C. For example, we had a Google Hangout with our United States representative, and we also had a hangout with one of our United States senators last year. Super awesome. It was a way for my students to really understand that the stuff that we're learning about is actually happening in the real world. I also want to be able to connect my students to other places. I teach in Missouri. I teach about an hour south of St. Louis, and a lot of my students don't get to travel outside of our state or outside of our region. So I feel like it's really important that even though we may not actually physically get to journey to new places, it's important for me to connect them with these new places. So we use Google Hangouts like we're doing right now, and we connect with people in other countries. We connect with classrooms in other countries. My students work with a class in Belgium and a class in England. And it's so great, not only to connect with them to discuss the content that we're learning. So how does your government work? How does it compare to my government? But also, it's really great to be able to connect with them and learn about their culture and learn about how they think about Americans and how we think about people in Europe and break down those stereotypes. It's so great. I also want to connect them to different things. I want to connect them with something that they maybe would be passionate about, maybe something that they want to do later in life, something that they want to learn more about. And through the technology that we have available, we can do that. And you know what? I also want to be excited, okay? If we're not excited about our classroom, our students aren't going to be excited. And I'm going to stop sharing my PowerPoint for a second. So one of the ways that I get really, I try to show my excitement to my students is, like I said in the fun section, I get a little crazy. You got to have fun. We play a game. I'm sure you guys have all watched the Ellen show. We watch a lot, or we play a lot of Heads Up in my classroom. So Heads Up, you can get the app. It's like 99 cents. And then you can buy your own, create your own deck. And you basically, this is the best, one of the best vocabulary reviews we can do, because I just type in a word. So for example, if our word is federalism, then I hold my iPad up over my head. My students have to describe federalism to me without using the word. In government-related terms, they can't say something like it starts with F and ends with ism. And we move on. So one way that we do that, I'm a very short person, I'm maybe 5'2", with my buns up on top of my head. So I have to stand up on a table so all of my students can see. So whenever little Mrs. Petty gets up on a table and she's holding her iPad, and all of these kids all over the place are trying to come up with a good definition of federalism, the excitement that is in my classroom is you can feel it. I've had teachers walk by and see me standing up on my table with my iPad and my kids standing up doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And they just kind of go, oh, okay, all right, Mrs. Petty's just doing something crazy again. It's normal, but it's fun. It's exciting. And to see your kids get super excited about the stuff that they're learning is just awesome. We also like to do choice boards, like take what you need, like a show what you know bingo. So it's like my students get to choose how they want to describe the way that they've learned something. So, you know, instead of a worksheet, who likes to do those, let's be honest, my students might create an ebook about a concept that they learned in class, or maybe they want to create a screencast, or maybe they want to create a model, or they want to make a game, or whatever they want to do. It's so awesome to see them getting excited about what we are doing in our classroom. So, and you know, technology can help us. It's really a great way to kind of connect us from where we are to what we want to be able to do with and for our students. So as I leave you, because I think I'm about done here, as I leave you today, I really just want you to think about, how are you going to be fierce for your students this year? What are you going to do in your classroom to be fun and to be innovative and engaging and all of those different words that we talked about? How are you going to do that for your students? And please share your ideas with everyone. I've been following your hashtag today, and oh my gosh, you guys are reaching so many people with the stuff that you're learning, and it's amazing. So please continue to do that, continue to share, and also be sure to follow me on Twitter. I want to follow you back. I want to learn from you. And if there's anything, any questions you all have as you continue to be awesome in implementing technology in the classroom to enhance student learning, please feel free to reach out. So this was so much fun. Again, thank you so much for having me, and it's 11:30, so I think I'm out of time. But again, thank you so much. Bye.
Get involved with Kentucky Go Digital. Attend regional events, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or follow us on Twitter.